Hi everyone, I'm Barbara from Fairies in My Pond, and today I'm going to share with you a very simple wing tutorial. I will be using thin aluminum foil, aluminum wire, and the reason I'm using aluminum wire is it's nice and light. Alcohol inks, but if you do not have alcohol inks, markers will work too. The only thing that I found with markers is that it might take a little bit longer for them to dry, and sometimes some markers it'll wipe off. So it's going to all determine on what markers that you do use. Second, you're going to want some sort of a glue, and I'm going to be using Mod Podge. It worked very, very well in between the aluminum foil. You want to make sure that you use a good glue because you don't want something to where the aluminum foil is going to peel apart. The last thing I'm going to be using is some flocking. Now this is what's going to change my texture. These wings are not going to be transparent, but it's going to give me the iridescent look, and it's going to give me a different texture. I have gone ahead and I have traced out my wing pattern onto my thin aluminum foil. You want two sides for each wing, and then I have taken my aluminum wire and I have glued it in between the two sides here of the wings with the Mod Podge. Okay, now when you have that all done, let it set and make sure that that glue is dry. Smooth out any wrinkles if you don't want them. You can also take the aluminum foil before you put the wire in and crinkle it up, and then go ahead and just lightly smooth it out, put your wire in it, and you'll get even a different look. But I'm just going to share with you this smooth look. Okay everyone, I think the rest I will just go ahead and film it. It doesn't take long, and hopefully at the end of the video you will be able to make your own and even expand on my idea and make it better than what I have. Okay, let's get going. I didn't mention I'm going to be using an orange, a blue, and a purple, and I also have just a little bit of rubbing alcohol in case I want to move the paint around. Okay, let's get started. Okay everyone, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to let that dry, and then I'm going to flip it over and I'm going to try to do pretty much the same thing. Now each wing is not going to look identical, but I want it to pretty much the colors to be in the same place. Now as I was doing this, when I was looking, see if this is all dry, I can actually go in there with a little bit of alcohol and I can just start moving around the inks. I don't want to do it too much because I'm okay with it. But you can still move it around. And also, if you feel like you got too much of a color on one side of it, you can take the alcohol and you can start wiping it off. But you want to do it before it's totally dry, because I can really wipe it and it won't come off. But if I go and I try to wipe it down with alcohol, yes, it's going to come off. Okay, I'm going to go off camera and I'm going to let this dry, and I'm going to look it over and see if I need to add some color or kind of manipulate the color a little bit more. Okay, I have done both sides and it is dry, and I wanted to show you what it looks like. See how bright the colors are? I'm going to bring it up as far as I can so we can see just a little bit of all the colors. Now, I want to point this out, as you put this together like I have here, I can actually start looking at it and I can see a pattern. And if I wanted to, like this right in here, if I wanted to, I could go back in there with my inks. I can go and put a little bit more and maybe make a little bit more of a pattern. But I'm going to leave it like this because I am satisfied with it. Okay, now here's the part that I'm going to change, and there isn't anything wrong with this. You can do it this way, and I think it is just great just the way it is. But here's something that you can do to change it up a little bit. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to tone it down to where it doesn't look so much like foil. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just go off camera and I'm just going to coat. I'm going to take my finger and I'm going to rub the Mod Podge on it very lightly on the whole wing. And then I'm going to flock it, but then I'm going to come back on camera and I'm going to have one wing that I haven't done so that you can see what I've done, because this, you have to do this in stages because you really have to let one side dry before you do the other. Okay, so I'm going to go and take care of the flocking and I'll be back. Okay everyone, I want to show you this. This one has been flocked and this one hasn't. The two bottom wings here have been flocked. Now that it's going to be up to you on how much of the flocking that you want on it. I just wanted to tone it down so that again it didn't look so much like foil. So this one here is not, and I'm going to show you how I do it. And I'm going to show you how you can put the Mod Podge right over it and it doesn't do anything to the ink. So let's say you wanted it just like this. If you feel like you want to seal it with the Mod Podge, but don't use, you know, a whole bunch. You might want to use like a gloss, or this is a matte. So I'm going to just go over it very lightly. Just make sure that you've got enough of that on it. Okay. And then I just sprinkle it on. And if some of you don't know what flocking is, it's like a fuzz. And if you look at butterfly wings, they do have kind of like a little powdery fuzz. And that's what gave me the idea with the flocking one day, was I was looking at a butterfly wing and I thought, well, that is reminding me of flocking. So I'm just going to keep shaking that on there. And like I said, it's up to you on how much. Now the only thing that I found out that when I did do this is that I found by using a little lighter color as a flocking, it gave it more of a highlight to where you still get the color, it tones it down. Now if I were to use a dark color, then it seems like it goes the opposite. I don't know, that's just kind of my observation, or maybe my liking and disliking, I don't know. Okay everyone, I wanted you to see how I do the flocking, and now I'm going to let this dry, and I'm deciding on whether if I'm going to do the other side or not. I might just leave it the way it is and kind of twist the wires and show you what it looks like when it's done.